Alright, this is Shadow's Heretic Kingdoms. I got this game for free. Basically, I spent like an X amount of dollars with good old games, and I got like they threw this game in for free because I spent so much money on good old games over the Christmas holiday. But basically, this narration is just a little chat about impossibility versus improbability, or how they are related, how they're different, and reasonable expectation versus unreasonable expectation. So there's three things that have been circulating around in the gaming community, and primarily in the Nintendo gaming community that I'm getting pretty damn tired of hearing. they're beginning to piss me off. Let's get started with the first one. I'm constantly hearing from gamers, hey, I don't want to have to get, like, I don't want to have to have I want third-party support on the Nintendo console. Well, I'm here to tell you something. It ain't gonna happen. I realize this is a difficult concept for a lot of people to understand. Believe me, I understand where you're coming from. It ain't gonna happen. There's an excellent video done by Mr. T where he basically goes into why it's not going to happen. I'll leave a link in the description field about why that's not going to be the case. But I mean, there's a lot of reasons it's not going to happen. Primarily, the main reasons that you need to be aware of as a gamer is this: third parties can't compete against Nintendo first party games. Okay, the field is too. The field is too. The strength of the competition is too strong. Okay, like third parties are, if they stack themselves up against Nintendo first party, they lose almost every time in terms of quality and sales. Okay, and I know what some people will say, but this XYZ example of a third party game sold 10 million across 5 platforms. Okay, that's fairly decent. There's only one small problem with your assertion. It sold 10 million across 5 platforms. So basically, they had to pay for that. They had to pay for the development of that, and then they had to pay money on top of that, which wasn't as much as the initial development cost, but still money on top of that for it to go to other platforms. Okay. Now here's where the kicker comes in. These 10 million games, yeah, that's a nice little bit of profit right there. But there's a problem with that assertion, is that those games were not sold. All that 10 million was not sold at full price, and these games were broken and buggy and glitchy. So they had to pay either a debugging team or keep the developers on staff. So instead of them working on the next game or the DLC or the expansions for that game, they were working on fixing the damn game. They lost money. Or if they didn't lose money, as in they lost, it was not profitable, they didn't make as much money as they were anticipating because, the shit was too damn expensive. Now, I know what some people are going to say. Well, you're just being, that's so regretting. No, I've spent a lot of time thinking about these things. I make it my business to kind of know about what's going on in the industry, just because even tangentially, as someone who has to deal with a lot of arcade machines and shit, I have to deal with tangentially, if Namco Bandai goes down, they make a lot of arcade games. That could tangentially affect my own business. So, I have to know what's going on. Maybe not as much as some people, but I'm aware of a lot of shit. So, that is an impossible thing. Okay, third parties are not going to come back to Nintendo. They can't compete directly with Nintendo. They can. I mean, there's places where they don't have competition. For example, sports games. EA has no competition on a Nintendo platform. Okay, they have zero competition. EA could totally mop up if they had a team of maybe 10, 15, 20 people make an arcadey basketball game and put it on a Nintendo console, because there would be no fucking competition whatsoever. But, you know, they don't give a shit, I guess, or it's not worth the investment for them. So, I mean, you know, everyone has their own little proclivities and pet peeves and, you know, how they feel about it. But ultimately, you know, I'm not saying that third-party support there couldn't theoretically be more third-party support on a Nintendo system. There could. But the possibility is so low that you might as well just say it's not going to happen. Which leads me to the second little topic that's been floating around in the gaming community. And this is always floating around. Every few years it pops back up. It's starting to come back up now a little bit, which is, well, you know, why doesn't Nintendo just go third party? Well, I mean, I could link you to a ton of investment meetings where Nintendo is making 300 million USD every year, and that's low for them. Normally they're making like half a billion, 600, 700 million dollars yearly. I mean, you know, they make, like, Nintendo consistently makes more money just supporting their own shit than the first party developers of other companies. Consistently, okay? And here's the frightening thing. They're only supporting their own shit. They're supporting the Wii U and the 3DS, and they're still making a fuck ton of money just off of those two hardware devices, with the software and everything like that. And then you factor in amiibos. It's ridiculous. So basically, they're making too much money for them to say, well, let's give up our only means of really controlling. Like, we spent all this time building this ecosystem. Fuck that. Let's go to being beholden to other console developers and shit like that. Because, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but if you look at how games are being developed on the PS4 and the Xbox One, how games are being developed compared to how they were being developed 20, 30 years ago, it's changed. The system is broken. The only people who still adhere to that old school style of gameplay is Nintendo. The rest of them are very, like, this new wave bullshit, which is kind of broken. It's kind of fucking broken. But I digress a little bit. Essentially speaking, I'm not saying that Nintendo, that, you know, you might not see a Nintendo system, you might not see a Nintendo game officially on a third-party console, but the possibility is so low that it's practically impossible. So stop, you know, it's a pipe dream. It's a wonderful dream. It's like if you're a dude and you're dreaming about an ultra hot chick who you grew up with, and, like, in reality you might dream about getting with her, but she's so far out of your league it ain't gonna happen. So just dream and let it go. So, I mean, you know, people just don't understand these things. The third and final stupid thing I'm hearing people say around here it's beginning to get a little old. It's beginning to get a little, like, I'm like, damn, these people don't understand what the hell they're talking about. Is people saying, well, you know, you know, I want a company to do X, Y, Z, and I want, you know, this is the future. Look, the future is immutable. It cannot be um, easily described or easily um, rendered. It's constantly changing. There's all types of things that will help it evolve or keep it from evolving. What I'm getting tired of is people espousing certain bits of technology as being the future. Look, listen, we don't know what in the hell the future is going to be. You know, I mean, there was a time in the 1930s where people thought, well, the future is going to be people televiewing each other. So literally, like, there would be a television screen and you would talk into a microphone and that shit would happen. This happened in the, this was in the 1920s in Germany. There was a small little educational campus where they had where they literally televiewed each other and talked to each other. It was a face-to-face chat before face-to-face chat was really what they called it. It's amazing. That was like, oh god, almost 90 something years ago. You get what I'm saying? It took a while to get to that point, if you know what I'm saying. And if people had been so, I mean, that wasn't, you know, the future is so immutable and so unprecise that, yeah, technically that was the future, but it took 90 fucking years, and no one who was espousing it 90 something years ago is alive to enjoy the fruits of their labor now. Get what I'm saying? So, anyway, the future is a completely different, is gonna change. Things are going to change, and you can't force the future. That being said, some more shit that's the reason I talk about that is to talk about this. Gaming is not what it used to be. You know, everyone's trying to find a niche that's not going to be as expensive, instead of relying upon something that'll keep the prices down and production up. And that's basically start making fucking games that are you know, that are technically sound, no matter what platform you put it on, right? Like, if you technically know how to, if you are a master of your field or proficient enough that you're solid at what you do, it doesn't matter what the medium is, you'll still be really good at it. Like a painter, whether they're painting houses or painting masterpieces, once they know the basics of how to mix colors in order to get, you know, certain palettes and everything like that, they'll always know, like, that's a basic skill. Once they've mastered it, they'll always be able to do that. Well, that's the same thing we're dealing with gamers now. With not gamers, developers, is that, like, and publishers too. They're so bent on they're so hung up on, look at the technology, that they've forgotten that the technology is a tool. It's there to help you express what you're trying to do. But even though you're trying to express, you know, better, you're trying to show this or show that, it means nothing if you don't know what the hell you're doing. If you don't know how to make a good picture, I don't care if you are a shitty developer. I don't care how powerful the graphical engine is. I don't care how smooth the textures are, how many effects it has. If you're a shitty developer, none of that shit matters. You know, a good developer could take a simple engine like Unity and make something fucking awesome with it. And a good developer. A shitty one could take something that's awesome and make something absolutely shit out of it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, gamers just need to understand that this shit is different. The shit has changed. Gamers need to calm the fuck down and stop being whiny little bitches. for lack of a better term. And developers need to go back to basics. You know, once you master the basics, you'll always be able to move forward. Like, you can't, like, developers now want to go from basic addition and subtraction to calculus and trigonometry without touching on algebra and pre-calc. And you can't do that. You should learn the basics first, and then you build upon the basics. But if you don't know the basics, if you haven't mastered the basics, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, then how the hell are you going to get calculus, pre-calc, trigonometry, algebra? I mean, it's amazing how badly things are going right now because people just refuse to learn how to do things correctly. And it's a damn shame because, you know, gaming is such an awesome hobby, and to see it be constantly under attack because people don't want to take the time to master their craft, not like they used to, is sad, but whatever. I leave you guys on a lighter note. Look forward to some more Tavern Tales coming out sometime later this month. Or, no, I think I'll do it this weekend. So I got a 4-day weekend coming up, so I got time. I might do an impromptu cast on MLK Day, but it's going to be at like 6 or 7. So look forward to that. And with that, I bid you guys adieu, a good day, a good night, and remember, MLK Day is not a time off, but a time on. Do something service-filled. Go volunteer at a church, or, you know, at a school, or with a volunteer organization. There's still time to register. Peace out.